Hi, I'm Mocha, and I'm gonna show you how to make that the apparel bodysuit with the mesh, the V mesh, and basically all you need is you're gonna need a bodysuit or a fitted black tee with like a U collar, and you just need it to be really fitted and tight. You could use a tank, but I would probably recommend like a t-shirt or a bodysuit or a leotard if you get your hands on one. You can get those from anywhere like Target. They even sell them at the thrift store now. So, bodysuit, tight black shirt, and then you're gonna need some mesh. You can buy mesh from Joann Fabric, but what I'm gonna do is because I have this old skirt that I don't use anymore. And even if you have a skirt like this that you don't even use anymore, you got some mesh material. Yep, the see-through mesh. And this is what I'm going to use for the middle piece. And I'm just going to cut all the way around and take that and put that in the middle. So yeah, so if you have mesh, you got to get some mesh in order to make this. So okay, basically you need the bodysuit, you need mesh, you need scissors. I am going to sew this in the middle of the shirt using a sewing machine. You can do it by hand, but it's gonna take a long time. So if you don't have a sewing machine, you can still do it by hand. I used to do all my sewing by hand, but now that I have a sewing machine, it's way much easier. And a sewing machine is not that expensive. It's like $30, $60. It's not that expensive. So it comes in handy too anytime you rip anything too. So yeah, you can do it by hand. It might take you a little longer, but I guarantee you it's going to be way cheaper than actually purchasing the other bodysuit. So yep, that's about it. Here we go. Okay, so the next thing you want to do after you have your black shirt or your bodysuit, this black shirt I made myself because I wanted it to be tight like a bodysuit. I made it out of spandex cotton material that I got from Joann's Fabric. It cost me like only like $10 or something. I had 40% off. But yeah, so get your black shirt, and then if you're going out and buying mesh, when you cut your mesh out, you want to cut it in a V shape going from, your neck on down. And you can do the whole shirt, or you can stop at a certain point just to make a V. And my mesh is not in a V shape because I cut mine off of my old skirt. So it's kind of weird shape, so I have to work with it. But to make it easier for you, you can just cut it out in a V shape. And then when you're done cutting the mesh out in a V shape or a shape going bigger to smaller, you want to take the mesh, take your shirt off, lay your shirt out, put the mesh on top of the shirt, and cut out the same alignment so that you have the mesh aligns with the opening in the shirt. And that's the next step. Okay, so for the next step, after you cut out your middle piece, it should look something like this. But what I went ahead and did is the next step. And that's going to be where you cut out the middle piece along the edge. You cut that with scissors, so it's going to be a little raggedy, and it's going to be, cut. So take that, turn the shirt inside out, and then take the edges, fold them over, and take a pin and pin it down. Okay? And so I did that to the whole thing. I took it, folded it over, and pinned it down so that I won't have a raggedy edge, you see? And you see, like in the inside of here, it's going to be like a nice folded edge. And I just took it, I folded it over, and if you're having a hard time having it stay when you fold it over, fold it over, get an iron and iron it down so that it stays folded over. And then if you don't have pins, that's the easiest way to do it, is to get an iron, fold the flap over, and iron it down. And if you do have pins, you can pin it down. But if you don't, use an iron. And then next, you're gonna get your piece of mesh. And get the mesh, and you're gonna line it up with it. And then you can, to make it easy, if you have pins, take the pins out the places you put them, and then just pin the mesh to it, so that you can go ahead and sew it on the machine easily, or you can sew it by hand. It'll still be easier if you had the mesh pinned down. If you don't have pins, since your flap is already folded over, just go ahead and line your mesh up with it and begin to sew. So after you pin the mesh down, then you can go ahead and sew. And after you sew it down, that should be the last step, and then I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so this is the finished product. It's not perfect, but I can say I do like how it turned out for a first try. Yep, this is it. And it goes lower, but I'm not really going to flash anybody. And let me turn around. So yeah, this is it. Tell me if you like it. Tell me if you tried it. You know, I really like the shirt, but I didn't have the means to, you know, I didn't have money to waste on it, so I decided, why not try to make it for myself? And this is what I came up with. I put it on with a leather skirt that I got from Forever 21. And yep, this is it.